Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to our Thursday, May 20th, 2021 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. If you would, bow your head and pray with me. Our Heavenly Father, we humbly thank you for all the gifts that we receive from you. We ask that you watch over the men and women who serve in our armed forces, as well as all of our emergency responders. I ask for wisdom and understanding for this court. Grant us humility in our everyday life, and give us the courage to make right decisions for all of Daviess County. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, I want to welcome everyone to our May 20th, 2021 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. Before we get started, I would ask, and I'm assuming you guys out in electronic land can see the agenda. I'm assuming, Jordan, do they see the agenda? No. Okay.
Yeah, on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, on the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see the agenda. Look over that, and if you have any questions that you would like to ask pertaining to any of the items that are on the agenda when they come up, if you will let us know. If you can text us on Facebook, just let us know that you have a question. We're on a time delay, so we may not get to it right then, but I promise you that we will either answer it then or I'll answer it at the end of the meeting. Also, anyone who would like to comment on about anything other than what is on the agenda or ask a question, you're welcome to do so at the end when I ask for public comment. Takes a little bit, but we'll get your comments or your questions in. Not always sure that we will be able to answer your questions quickly, but if you give us your name and phone number, we'll absolutely get an answer and get back to you. Jenny, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir, but Judge, I'm going to defer to Jim Hendricks since this is a...
Okay, well, the first item is proposed county road aid and local government economic assistance funds. We're having a public hearing, Jim. So...
Yes, and when we do the budget, in order to expend the LGEA funds, which I believe this year we're expending $521,000 in the proposed budget, we have to have a public hearing, which is what we're doing now, in order to enable anyone who wants to comment on the usage of these funds. The budget as proposed uses all of these funds to maintain Daviess County roads and bridges, and that's the entire use of that money. So at this point, anyone who would want to weigh in on a different use may do so.
if there is anyone out in electronic land, I used to say TV land, but nobody watches TV anymore during this time, you're welcome to give us your comment or deliver another use to us. It doesn't have to be right now. You can actually write. I'm assuming they could send us an email tomorrow or whatever, and we would take that into consideration. That money, the LGEA money, does in no way, shape, or form cover the total cost of road maintenance and operation, does it?
No, it's just a portion.
Just a portion, okay. With that, David, have you seen anything? Jordan, anything? We haven't had any public comment yet. We do have 3 folks here in the audience today, special folks, but I don't think that they want to get up and comment on this, do you? Okay. With that, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Jenny, next item.
Item 1, consideration for presentation. A, recognize Kentucky Farm Bureau discussion meet winner Brandon Gilles.
Okay, guys, it's been a while since we've been able to have anybody outside of folks that we needed for our meetings in. It's certainly been a while since we've had young folks come in and who have done an outstanding job representing Daviess County and all of our citizens. When I was reading the Kentucky Farm Bureau News, I noticed where Brandon Gilles won the Kentucky Farm Bureau discussion meet. And that's pretty cool. I happen to know his daddy pretty well, know his mama a little bit. I like you better than I do his daddy, by the way. And I thought it would be a great way to start opening the courtroom back up by having Brandon come in, tell us a little bit about the competition, and then give us just a little bit of that speech. So Brandon, come on. And what I'd like for you to do, introduce your mom and dad, and then tell us what went on with this. You got it.
That's good. Well, I do appreciate that. Thank you for that. It's an honor to be recognized by the Daviess County Fiscal Court this afternoon. Just introducing my parents, my very supportive parents, Christy and Jimmy Gilles. Just a little bit about myself. Just grew up with a passion for all things agriculture. Started out fifth generation farmer myself and was raised on our family farm in West Daviess County. We raised livestock, grain, and tobacco, and I've gained an appreciation for the farm and all that the lessons that it has taught. And starting from an early age, being involved in FFA, 4-H, and different organizations, and then going on to be involved with Farm Bureau, I've enjoyed being able to learn about all aspects of agriculture from production to policy. After graduating with an Ag Econ degree from the University of Kentucky, I was able to join Farm Credit here in town as an agriculture lender. I work with many of our producers across our area. And this is something that now I've transitioned to a different role and have the privilege to be able to lead our Kentucky and Tennessee team with our crop insurance team at Farm Credit as our regional vice president. I enjoy being able to work alongside my dad and older brother Jim in a part-time role on our farm, and I've been working on an MBA and plan to graduate this fall. And earlier this year, the discussion meeting, I had the opportunity to be able to compete on a national level. The discussion meeting, just a little bit of background about it, there's really not a speech that goes along with it. It is an actual discussion. So I'll just kind of give you a little bit of background of what all went on that day. But the American Farm Bureau, they host a lot of young farmer competitions every year where farmers from all across the country compete at a state level. And fortunately, I was lucky enough to compete at the Kentucky Farm Bureau competition back in the fall, and was fortunate enough to win that competition for the state of Kentucky, where I was able to go on at a national level to compete with people from all across the country, different young farmers from all across the country. And with that, the competition, it is a discussion, and it's encouraged to have active participation from all members that are on the board, the panel. It's much like you would see a regular meeting like y'all conduct every time y'all have a meeting. It's very similar to that, and the people that are participating in the competition are evaluated based off of their exchange of their ideas, as well as information that's regarding the topic that's given to you before you go into the competition. And basically what happens is participants, they're able to build their discussion skills, develop a keen understanding of important agricultural issues, and basically how we can explore as a group different solutions and reach a consensus at the end. And during the fall report, during the fall competition, I was able to compete with different people from around the state. And from there, the national competition, it was all virtual. Typically in the past, you would go on and compete somewhere else, and they rotated around the country. And some of the topics that we discussed were international trade, broadband connectivity, something that's very important to rural communities, as we're well aware, precision agriculture topics, and then also just the rural economy in general. And some of the people that I was able to compete against at a national level ranged from a professor from the University of Georgia in their ag department. Also was able to compete with a former state senator from Kansas who sat on the Senate Ag Committee there in Kansas, and another was a part owner in one of the largest ag auction companies in the country. So had a very diverse group of people we were able to compete with. It was a great networking event. I still stay in contact with some of those that I competed with, so it's been great to be able to have a connection in agriculture and leadership across the country from that standpoint. And then it's been one of the greatest experiences I've been able to have since my involvement at Farm Bureau. And I want to thank Kentucky Farm Bureau, as well as the American Farm Bureau while I'm here, and allowing me to compete at a national level in the competition. And and it also wouldn't be possible without the support of the Daviess County Farm Bureau and those who support me along that way. Thank you.
Brandon, you did very well. I'm telling you, with that demeanor and the voice that you have, you know, your mannerisms. Guys, you better be careful because he may be a candidate running against one of you people here. Certainly hope that I do see you running for fiscal court in the future because we need bright, young people and people who are not afraid to get up and discuss ideas and throw their ideas out there and reach some kind of consensus. I think that's probably the biggest problem that we have in politics today is it's my way or the highway. And when everybody walks away from a discussion like that, nobody wins. So thank you very much. Guys, any of you have a statement or question?
I'll just say congratulations. Also, I want to congratulate the parents. You did a nice job. Also, is there a possibility that you could get your group together? Maybe y'all could go to Washington and teach them how to have discussions?
Well, we actually did. I was able to, before the pandemic set in, I was actually in DC in early February 2020. So I was one of the last trips I got to go through there, but we got to go talk to our legislators up there, and it was very impactful. We got to have some conversations with Rand Paul, and that was very insightful. And so it was a good trip, and it's important. Farm Bureau, I mean, it's in their tagline. They're the voice of agriculture, and so they help us as farmers and rural citizens as a whole. To be able to have a voice at a state and national level. And so it's very important that we have people that stay involved. And Kentucky is one of the is at the forefront as far as having young farmers involved in different facets of both politically and the production side of agriculture.
That's great. Thank you.
Little shameless advertisement, but that Gilles name reminds me of some meat that is out there for sale. And I heard you say you were involved in livestock. Is that the same Gilles?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My older brother. My dad was doing it for a long time. Where we actually have an on-farm retail store now. My father, Jimmy, for 15, 20 years, he's been selling sides of beefs to people locally. And then my brother, whenever he came back to town, he decided that he saw that there was a need for actual individual cuts to be sold to the community. So we've got a large following. Appreciate all the customers that follow us with that. And it's been great support doing that as well.
I think I see him at Farmers Market on Saturdays, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's
So
what I was.
That's been a huge thing for our community. I know it's been a lot
really
of private
has.
support there, and it's been really great to be able to have a center like that. I know talking to many of the vendors that go there, that's really increased their revenue, and whenever they increase revenue, it helps them stay in business and it helps the community as a whole.
Did you ever spray your tomatoes with Roundup?
No, we don't have those. We didn't. So.
The only reason I ask is I know some dum-dum who happens to be the judge executive that mistakenly thought he was putting fungicide on them. The tomatoes don't live very long.
No, I'd say it's well.
They did not. All right, well, Brandon.
I want
Yes.
to throw a comment. You looked my way, and then you asked calling George, but you never gave me an opportunity to say
Yeah, and
anything.
I'd like to follow up.
So anyway, I just want to echo what the judge said. You did a fine job. Farm Bureau is an excellent organization to be a part of and to have support across our Commonwealth and across our country. And I was curious how a discussion meet differs from a debate team. And I think maybe you hit on it at the end, and that is you're supposed to come to a consensus at the end.
It's very similar. There's some parts of the debate that's actually ingrained in it. I mean, that's part of what we do whenever we have discussions. There's a little bit of debate that goes on in that because people have their own opinions about things and being able to finally come to an agreement there at the end. But there is, so part of it is you come, there's a lot of studying involved and just knowledge that you've gained through experiences and whatnot, and then you actually discuss those and you bring your own topics to the table and they bring their facts and knowledge. But if you know that they do have something that's incorrect or not factual, you can call them out on that kind of and be able to talk to them and say, well, this is actually how it is and the facts that you can back up
Right.
your comment. So there is a little bit of debating that goes on with it. So something Another one's, at the state level, we did get in a little bit of a heated discussion, but at the national level, it was pretty kosher over time, so it was not too bad, so.
Very good, very good.
Commissioner, I'm
to-
not sure that we would like that if you have to use facts.
And, and then to echo what the judge said, I believe our community might be well-served if you step forward at some point. And to the family, congratulations to y'all as well. And I didn't know what the tie was with the meat the judge mentioned, but I'm pretty sure I've been a customer, so.
We appreciate that.
All right. Yes.
Commissioner.
I just want to congratulate you as well and your parents, and I've known your parents and grandparents, and I believe you said you're fifth generation, and I hope that continues, because I know farming's a tough business, and it's good that you're selling the meat locally, that we can buy local, support our farmers, and I've always had the farmers in my heart all my life. My first job was in the 5th grade, and I worked for a whole lot of farmers, and I've never forgotten that. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, thanks for being here tonight. You don't have to stay because I guarantee you it's going to be boring after this. But hope to see you here again after you win some other national or international competition.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all very
All
much.
right,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
See you, David.
Jenny, next item.
B, Treasurer's Report for April 2021.
Mr. Hendricks.
Cash balance at April 30th is $45,372,197. General funds, $21,052,228. With 2 months remaining in the fiscal year, almost all the funds are operating within the expected range. I think we'll finish the year in pretty good shape. We had previously discussed an issue with the jail fund being a little bit short because of COVID and the state revenues. That has continued, although we were helped a little bit in April because that was a lower expense month. What I don't know right now is that the total expense or some of it going to be paid in May. But there's a fund transfer later in the agenda because of the CARES money that we got that we'll transfer to the jail that will get us through this year fine, so won't be an issue.
Questions or comments, commissioners? This is just a report. A copy of the report's on file here in our offices, second floor of the courthouse building on Frederica and St. Anne, or I'm sorry, St. Anne and Third, or, yeah, Second and St. Anne. Anyone's welcome to come and I think, David, did we put this on our webpage? We don't have it on our webpage. Just a lot of info. Next item, Jenny.
2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the May 6, 2021 Davis County Fiscal Court meeting.
Motion approved.
Second?
I have a motion and second. Commissioners all had a copy of the minutes in your possession for some time. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Again, Commissioners, you all had a copy of the bills due and payable by Davis County Fiscal Court in your possession for some time. Any questions of the treasurer? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
C, fund transfers.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Mr. Hendricks.
Request permission to make the following fund transfers. From Solid Waste Operating Fund, $290,836, and put $238,763 in the Closure Fund and $52,073 in the Post-Closure Fund. $900,000 from the General Fund into the Bond Fund for the Convention Center. That's for the insurance premium tax. And then a new one. The first 2 were budgeted. The third one is new. Late yesterday, we received the first deposit for half of our ARPA money from the federal government. And as part of that, there's going to be a couple items on tonight's agenda. This is one. We received that into the general fund, but DLG has recommended that we create a new fund, number 84, which would be labeled the ARPA funds. That way it's got its own separate fund, its own separate checking account, because we will be highly scrutinized on how those funds are expended in the I think everyone wanted them separated from our others, even though we account for everything separately. This just makes it easier if it's in its own separate fund, own separate bank account. So we will be establishing that. I think the judge signed the papers for that today. So that would be to transfer $9,858,661 from the general fund to the new fund that we just created. I request your approval.
Question or comment, commissioners?
Will we be getting any more of these funds, or is this a one-time deal?
That's half of it. A year from now, we'll get the other half.
One of the things that I might say is that, and it's going to be a while before we even start looking at how we spend the funds. There is 157 pages of guidance that we received. I went through it the other day. I've asked the treasurer to kind of do an executive summary of the things we can and can't do. But even though we've already received some treasury guidance, if you remember when we got the CARES money, we also got guidance which was ever evolving. Even after they told us this is what you may or may not do, then they changed it. So the money's there, we'll have it in the account, and we'll be talking about how best to get ideas on where to place the money. We have 2 years, 3 years. 2 years.
Till 24, and it doesn't necessarily have to be spent.
Correct.
It has to be committed.
Committed. So we have 2.5 years to commit it, and I think another 2 years to expend it past that commitment. So we've got some time. If any other question or comment? Have anything from the public, guys? Okay. If there are no other questions or comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
D, Davis County Clerk's 2020 claim for calculation of motor vehicle and boat bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks.
This is one of the mechanisms the clerk funds their office. They send us a bill for this, 15 cents per. I reviewed it. It appears to be in order. I recommend approval.
Any question or comment? Pretty similar to what we did last year, right?
Yes.
If there are no questions or comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
E, Davis County Road Resurfacing recommendation.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion second. Mark, are you the one that's going to do this?
I am.
Okay.
Would you like me to read them off individually?
I think that would be a good idea. That way people will know whether they're going to get the roads resurfaced or not. And I think everybody up here will tell them if they don't, call the engineer.
This is the Davis County Public Works recommendation for the 2021-2022 roadway resurfacing list. In the East District, Knoxville Mountain Zion Road from Winkler Mountain Zion Road to Kentucky 144 for a length of 2.009 miles. Pin Oak Drive from Boxwood Drive to Dead End for a length of 0.201 miles. Brownwood Drive from Pin Oak Drive to Reed Road for a length of 0.081 miles. Maple Hill Drive from Boxwood Drive to the Dead End for a length of 0.025 miles. Forest Drive from Black Oak Drive to Pin Oak Drive for a length of 0.085 miles. Boxwood Drive from Maple Hill Drive to Pin Oak Drive for a length of 0.272 miles. Black Oak Drive from Thurston Dermont to Forest Drive for a length of 0.235 miles. Yelvington Knoxville Road from Kentucky 662 to Kentucky 1389 for a length of 2.841 miles. Jack Kenton Road from McPherson Road to Kentucky 764 for a length of 4.17 miles. Sublet Road from Butler Road to the end of pavement for a length of 0.282 miles. Bowler Road from Pleasant Valley Road to Kentucky 144 for a length of 2.391 miles. Ward Road from Kentucky 54 to Kentucky 764 for a length of 1.723 miles. Milton Road from Ditto Road to Little Hickory Road for a length of 1.683 miles. That gives a total of 15.998 miles in the East District.
Commissioner Koger, you're the commissioner from the East District. You okay with that?
Yes, Judge.
Mark, I noticed a couple of them are flex funds. That's the money we get from the state.
That is correct.
Then a lot of streets in Brownwood Manor. That's not all the streets?
It is all the streets except for the two
New
new sections
streets,
that
yeah.
were just recently put in.
Okay, so, all right, if there are no other questions, next item.
Central District, Lashbrook Road from Old Masonville Road to the end of pavement for a length of 0.913 miles. Carlton Drive from city limits of Owensboro to J.R. Miller Road, length of 0.244 miles. Best Way from city limits to the Carlton Drive for a length of 0.059 miles. Jackson Road South from West Harmons Ferry Road to Kentucky 140 for a length of 0.961 miles. Old Masonville Loop from Lashbrook Road to Old Masonville Road for a length of 0.124 miles. Burns Road from Todd Bridge Road to US 431 for a length of 2.626 miles for a total length of 4.927 miles.
Commissioner Castlin from Central District, you okay with that?
I am.
I noticed just one of those roads are flex funds.
Correct.
Okay. Next item, let's go to the west.
West District, Ballard Road from Kentucky 279 to Wayne Bridge Road for a length of 0.907 miles. St. Joseph Lane from Kentucky 500 to the end of pavement for a length of 0.209 miles. Worthington Road from Kentucky 56 to West Fifth Street Road for a length of 0.898 miles. West Fifth Street Road from Kentucky 279 to the Ladane Bridge Road for a length of 0.919 miles. Fenwick Road from Hall School Road to Kentucky 258 for a length of 0.792 miles. Lee Rudy Road from Kentucky 279 to Ladane Bridge Road, a length of 1.189 miles. Berry Road from Kentucky 500 to Kentucky 56 for a length of 2.596 miles. French Island Road from Laketown Road to Wimsett Road for a length of 1.983 miles, a total distance of 9.493 in the west. That gives us a total length for the county of 30.418 miles.
Commissioner Wathen from the west, you okay with those?
Yes, looks
I
good
think
to me.
you drove all those roads and checked them and, okay. Mark, just for the folks out in electronic land, how do we determine generally what's spent?
How we determine which roads to spend the money on?
Well, how do we determine which district to spend the money? How do we proportion or allocate?
We've got the total miles for each district, and we try to separate the money as best we can within those districts based on the percentage of miles in that district. Ultimately, we do look at the condition of the road, so the percentages don't always work out.
But most of the time it gets pretty close. I notice here it's 53% in the east versus 46% that normally would go to them, 17 in central, normally 20, 30% in the west, and normally 34%. And what you've got to look at a lot of times, you can't just say, well, I'm going to put 46% and stop paving a road right in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah, so, but I think generally all the commissioners look at these things and they understand the way it's allocated. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
F, waste tire grant for fiscal year 21-22.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Smith.
Yes. So this is an annual grant that we get, that we have to apply for. It's up to $4,000. This is not to be confused with our Tire Amnesty Day. That is a state-funded day that it happens every 3 years. This grant we use for when we are cleaning up dumps at the side of roads. So Mark and them will get complaints, or our property maintenance person will get a complaint that there's some rubbish. Well, when we come across tires, we're able to tap this fund of money to dispose of those tires.
Question or comment? Now, where's this going to happen?
This will happen during the course of the year.
Okay, that's right. This is different than the other. I wasn't listening. I never listened to you anyway. Okay. Any other question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next item, Jenny.
G, salary schedule for fiscal year 21-22.
I'm sorry, go ahead, guys.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks.
This is a salary schedule that the court approves every year for salaries to be effective July 1. We make all known changes to this schedule. This one specifically includes the 2% COLA that's in the budget, and we added the veterinarian job title to the Management 2 section. I recommend approval.
Question or comment, commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
H, annual standing orders for fiscal year 21-22. Pre-approve certain recurring expenses. Authorize the county judge executive to execute and submit court-approved documents.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks, tell us why we're doing this.
It's in two pieces. The first page is suggestion by DLG. As you know, payroll and utility due dates do not always coincide with court dates. And therefore, it would be impossible for us to approve some of them before they're paid. It's just not, it's not practical. So DLG has the ability to handle that by the court passing this annual standing order. Though it gives us a standing order to pre-approve wages and utility expenses. You still see them in the claims, but it's possible we may have already paid them. And of course, if there's any issue, we do have a way to fix them. But this just gives us the ability to do that because we're technically not allowed to write checks before you approve the claims. So.
Okay. Let me, Jim, before you go to the second one, let me ask Claude something. In my book, it shows two separate orders, motions made by and seconded, but we did it as one. Do we need to go back and have a motion and second on each of these?
It's preferable, Judge, if they're two orders and have two separate approvals.
Okay.
Or have them one and say they're two separate.
And well, I mean, we can say, I guess the motion was made as they were read by Jenny, that there were two separate orders.
As long as we read it in, that there were two separate orders and we approved two separate orders.
Okay. And I think that's the way it was read in. Okay, the next one. I just wanted to make sure we didn't get called up, or Jim didn't get called out by the auditor.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The second one is the standing order authorizing judge executive to execute and submit court-approved documents. What this is for, is oftentimes the court will vote and express its intent and wishes. One of the best examples I can give you is when we passed the benefits for the year. Well, after that meeting, there are any number of documents that have to change hands in order to affect what the court voted for. This just keeps us from having to bring back every document in a separate court meeting to get them signed, because they're not possible to do them prior to that. So where the intent is exactly what the court meant, then the judge is allowed to go ahead and sign the documents to affect what the court ordered. So that's what both these orders do, and I would recommend that the court approve both orders.
Is this new one, is this second one a new one?
No, we've been doing that for 4 or 5 years, I think.
Okay.
One of the things I think, Charlie, on occasion, we will include in the document that we approve the document and give the judge executive and treasurer all authority to sign any and all documents. Yeah, this just, if something else popped up, then we're kind of in a standstill. So, and this does say to execute and submit any and all documents approved by Daviess County Fiscal Court. So it takes you guys' approval. If you don't approve it, I can't sign it.
Right.
Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I, contract per state bid with Eden Fence Company to repair East Marksberry Road guardrail at Shoemaker Branch Bridge.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and second. Jordan, are you going to tell us this, or is Mark going to do it? Okay.
I will, Judge.
Okay.
The road department was made aware of some damage to the guardrail along this section of roadway. We've inspected it. We've got the quote attached. We would like to utilize the same contractor that has the master agreement for the highway department. That quote is for $8,614.50. I'd recommend approval.
So I'm assuming this is not an insurance claim that we can recover from?
We did look back, had the sheriff's department look and see if there was a police report on. There was not.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question or comment? To take out that guardrail that much, somebody had their own vehicle damaged pretty good. All right, if there are no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
J, accept the resignation of Keith Lyons effective 5/17/21.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mark, Road Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay, have we already advertised for a replacement?
We have.
Okay. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
K, accept the resignation of Marvin Ammons effective 5/4/21.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mark, Road Department?
I apologize. Keith Lyons is actually our fleet maintenance. He's a heavy equipment
Okay,
mechanic.
but he works out of the Road Department.
Yep, Marvin
right?
Ammons, yes, he is
Okay.
a service tech at the road department.
Okay, we're gonna have to get nicer people managing these guys out the Road Department. Question or comment, Commissioners? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
L, accept the retirement resignation of Jane Garrison effective 5/31/21.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second, and Mark, I'm not even gonna ask if she works in your office. Yeah, I thought so.
Yes, she does.
Jane, I wanna say thank you for all the time that you gave to Daviess County Fiscal Court and the Road Department. We're gonna miss you, but please enjoy your retirement. Any question or comment, Commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
M, accept the retirement resignation of Deanne Bryenton effective 6/3/21.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Again, there's not a lot I can say about Dee Bryenton. She works in the coroner's office. She originally worked part-time in our office when we first were elected. Dee and I see each other every morning, and she always had something smart-alecky to say in reply to my smart-aleck response to her, or statement to her. I'm gonna miss you, Dee, but I hope that you and John enjoy your retirements together. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
N, hire Brooke Smith as Daviess County Coordinator Administrative Assistant effective 5/17/21, following successful completion of pre-employment screening.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, I just talked to Brooke a little while ago. I think she's going to do a good job taking up for where Deanne left off. I might say that Brooke, get ready. We're going to have just as much fun as Dee and I did. So any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
O, appoint Sunny Patel to fill an unexpired partial term of Kurt Baker on the Owensboro-Daviess County Convention and Visitors Bureau, term 5/20/21 to 6/30/23.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and second. This is one of 3 appointments from the Hotel Motel Association on the CVB board. Commissioner Wathen serves as liaison. Commissioner, you want to talk to us a little bit about Sunny Patel?
Well, he owns a restaurant, a hotel out on Highway 60 West, and looking forward to seeing him serve on that board. Also, Clerk, it was interesting, I think he only served about a year. I'm not sure that he ever got to have a meeting in person. Everything was
Yeah, I
on
guess
Zoom, so, but he did a good job, and we wish him well. He's moving to back home, wherever, I think that's Michigan or,
Okay.
anyway, he's moving north.
All righty. Any other question or comment, commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Before we go any further, David, any questions or comments? Okay, next item.
Item
Jenny?
3, consideration for discussion, A, first reading of KOC A 98.02, 2021, an ordinance relating to the fiscal year 2021 Davis County budget.
Okay, this is first reading. We don't have a motion or a second. Mr. Hendricks, explain to us.
Yeah, this is actually a budget amendment for the current year. We did number 1 probably last July, so this is budget number 2. There's a lot of entries on here, but we really need to only talk about 2 amounts. The first amount is $1,170,602.61. That was the amount of CARES reimbursement we got from federal funds that we recovered for jail salaries under the COVID rules. Our electronic deposit account is in the general fund. So what the entries do, and there's a number of them, they show the receipt of that money in the general fund, the transfer out of the money to the jail fund, the receipt of the money in the jail fund, and the expenditure of the money is the salary, jailer salary line. Even though the money had already been expended and we're being reimbursed, we have to do an entry, and DLG wants us to show what the money's reimbursed for, and this is how we did it. It will ultimately show the salary line over budgeted. But again, this is just a budget, not the actual column. So that's that half. The second half of this entry is the $9,858,661, the item we talked about. This is our ARPA deposit, and it went into the general fund. We will then transfer it out of the general fund, receive it into the brand-new Fund 84, the ARPA fund, and then I don't know where it's going because we haven't talked about it yet, but I have to show in the budget, if you have a revenue item, you have to have an expense item. So we budgeted an expense item under other capital projects. Again, this is all placeholder. None of it's been allocated, so we don't know where it's going to go. We absolutely will not spend any of it in the current fiscal year anyway. But this takes care of the accounting end. I recommend your approval.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Like I said, first reading, we'll have a second reading at the 10 o'clock
Well,
meeting?
if I get it back,
Okay,
I've requested it back for the June 3rd meeting. And
Okay.
if we get it back, that's when the second reading for this one will be.
so depending when all the stuff comes back.
Yeah, we have to send these to DLG for approval for form and classification.
Okay. Any other question, comment? Next item, Jenny.
B, first reading of KOC 8-100, 2021, an ordinance relating to the 21-22 Davis County budget.
Again, first reading, so Mr. Hendricks, explain it to us.
Okay, this is our budget for the fiscal year '22, and this is just a formal budget ordinance that we must do. Today, I have overnighted 3 copies of the entire budget to DLG for approval as to form and classification. So this is a summary of that budget. I'll read the appropriation amount, but know that there is also a revenue amount of the exact same amount. For the general fund, $30,149,642. For the road fund, $5,702,270. Detention center, $9,281,095. The LGEA fund, $721,000. Bond fund, $6,976,500. The total solid waste funds are $24,597,900. The economic development fund, $1,444,000. And the health insurance fund, the $301,100. And the new fund, American Rescue Plan Act Fund, $19,701,000, for a total budget appropriation for all funds of $98,874,507. We will plan on having the second reading of this one at the meeting on June the 15th.
Questions or comments? I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, the commissioners, for being liaison to the various departments and to our department heads and all the staff up here for preparing the budget. It's really a long and arduous task that the treasurer starts along with staff actually in February sometime. I'm brought into it, and we prepare a budget, submit it to you guys for your approval. Now, each and every one of you sit in for portions of the budget, and then you see the entire budget, come the work session that we have. It's long, it's hard, it's arduous. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to sit in on some of the budgets that are not relating even to those people that you liaison to. My job is kind of like the city manager's job, which is to prepare the budget and bring to you guys so that you can look at it during that 30-day period before we have the first reading. And then you have the opportunity to explain to me, tell me what you would prefer to see changed, and then we do it. So it's a work in progress where everyone, both elected officials and staff, participate. And I think every year we've turned out a good budget. We've turned out a balanced budget. And I think the budgets that we have give the taxpayers what they expect from fiscal court. So thank you. With that being said, next item, Jenny.
C, other business to be brought before Daviess Fiscal Court.
Well, and for the first time in how long?
Years.
Years. We have something that we had to bring to you under other business. Typically, we do not, but we have another budget amendment that we just need to move on it and move on it quickly. So, Mr. Hendricks.
We do. This is budget amendment number 3, which affects this current fiscal year. The Owensboro Regional Recovery received a CARES COVID grant that the court approved several months ago. I think maybe it's in February, maybe in January, of $200,000. There's an administrative agency that takes care of the paperwork, and then there's the state CDBG agency. I don't know what happened, and I'm not trying to place blame. I don't care. I just know that something didn't happen in the proper order, or COVID-related issues held it up. For whatever reason, this has never been administered, and I noticed when I'm beginning to do year-end analysis that we haven't received a payment. I think the agency has also contacted multiple people, including the judge, also inquiring about where's the fund. So the result of that was several emails and several phone calls today. Just prior to the beginning of this meeting, I was requested to provide where the court has entered it into their budget. And of course, we normally wait till we receive the fund. So it's circular, it's a circular argument. I've talked to DLG, got it straightened out, because we have a contractor going to accept the contract. So we need the court to approve this document, and obviously we will hope to get the final approval on June the 3rd, at which point that completes all the paperwork that should be submitted for those funds to be released. So the reason we're doing this out of time tonight is to try to assist another agency in timely collecting some money, because I think that they need the money. So we decided to do it this way. So this involves a $200,000 community development block grant that upon receipt, we will turn around and immediately provide to Owensboro Regional Recovery. And again, I've requested this back in time to approve it June the 3rd.
Commissioners, it's kind of well, I started to say funny, but it wasn't funny to the Owensboro Regional Recovery, who was struggling to begin with. George, I think, or Commissioner Watson, I think they even came to our relief fund and got some funds because, I mean, where they normally have 95 to 100 people and are receiving income, they were down to below 50 this year, and it was really hard. I happened to sit in on a meeting with Audubon area who requested us to do a resolution which would allow them to front the money because ORR almost didn't have the money to pay the bills last month. And it looked like it, and then I'm going, yeah, but we got the CDBG grant and the COVID relief. What's going on? Turns out they didn't get any of it. It was just out in la land. And through Jordan and Mr. Hendricks and myself, we were able to track it down, and we hope that they'll get this money by the end of this, or by June 3rd, that it'll be ready. So anyway, for ORR, I'm sorry. We did everything that we knew we should have done.
So this is community development block grant money, so it was approved a long time ago. They just haven't received the money.
They haven't received, well, remember, 2 community development block grants. The first is the yearly. Remember how they
Yes,
come? So
yes.
that's the first.
Right.
This is CARES money distributed through CDBG.
Okay.
So this is a second piece, and it comes through the same agency. And both allocations were, they haven't received either one of them, going back to January, February, so.
So this
It-
fixes the one, what
The
What about
other,
the
I
second
think, we did, the other had already been before court and was in the budget, if I'm not mistaken. Or they may turn around and ask us.
Fiscal court had done everything on their end
Yes.
last summer, and then in January or February for this piece. I'm not sure, we received an email with a lot of paperwork that I think had already been sent. So I'm not sure, again, I'm not trying to blame, I don't know what happened. Just somehow in the processing, the documents either didn't get where they were supposed to be, or perhaps misplaced, or not finalized. I don't know the answer right now. We're just trying to get it. We're just trying to make it happen.
We're in the
So
process,
today,
yeah.
the paper is in the process to make both pieces happen quickly. So
Gotcha.
hopefully we can get that done.
very
Yep.
good.
And Sarah Atkins was very appreciative.
I bet she was.
So, all right, Jenny, next item.
Public comments?
Public comment. This is a time during the meeting in which we ask the public normally who's sitting out here on the benches to come forward, identify themselves. They're welcome to speak on anything other than what was on the agenda. Any questions or comments? None? Okay, next item, Denny.
Comments by Daviess Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Colger.
If you drive down Fairview Drive at the Horse Fork Park, you'll be able to see a lot of new equipment, and that's pretty exciting.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Wathen.
Pass.
Commissioner Castlin.
I just know that Memorial Day is coming up before our next meeting, and I just want to encourage folks. Last year, because of COVID, there was most of the events were canceled. I know the one that's done by the Veterans Group at the Sports Center was held. It was held limited to, I believe, 10 or 20 people, and that's normally a very well-attended event on Memorial Day itself, 11 a.m. And it will be held this year. My understanding is it will be held, and the public is invited and encouraged to show up. There will be a roll call of all the veterans who have passed away, Daviess County veterans who have passed away since last Memorial Day, and it's a well done. It's a somber, respectful event, as actually all of them are. And I would encourage folks to, you might have a list of them, Judge, I'm not going to give a list, but I know the paper had an article listing some of them. And I would encourage the public to take an opportunity to pick one. You don't have to go to all 10 of them. I think there's 10 of them in the community. But pick one and attend it. I think you'll be pleased that you took the time to do it.
Okay. Typically, it started off on Thursday evening by the at the Revolutionary
Yes.
Cemetery there on near Fifth and Triplet, Mosley, so John Mosley chapter, yeah. On Friday, typically I think the VFW holds a poppy ceremony there at the VFW about 4 o'clock. Saturday morning is usually Greenwood Cemetery, but Mike, my understanding is they're not going to have that. And I think we contacted Mr. Acton, and he said there just wasn't enough time to get things done. Glenn Family Services at Owensboro Memorial Gardens has a very nice ceremony, 2 o'clock, 2:30 on Saturday. Sunday at the Triangle in Elmwood Cemetery, the American Legion will hold a ceremony. Utica Baptist Church, one of the nicest. I think, did I take you or?
I've been
you?
several times
Yeah,
with you.
One of
yes.
the nice. It's out in the country at a little country cemetery, and it's a very nice program that they put on Sunday evening. 10:30 at the Sports Center is the veterans groups put on one, and immediately following they have a ceremony on the river where they lay a wreath on the river down to VFW. So there are a lot of opportunities for anybody that would want to go. And remember, and it's not just military. This Memorial Day is exactly what it talks about. It's remembering all of those who have passed on before us. So, the commissioners, having Brandon here tonight was a wonderful exhibition of what we have going for us in this community with our young people. At our next meeting, Keisha Harrington we've asked her to come and talk to us a little bit. This lady won a scholarship. She's from senior high, and she won a scholarship to Harvard University. Pretty cool to have somebody run from Owensboro going to Harvard. So she's going to come in and talk to us a little bit. And then we have, and I don't have the names in front of me, but there'll be a young man and young lady who scored a perfect 36 on their ACTs.
Wow.
Sometimes you'll have one in a community every now and then. We had 2 from this community. I told Jenny I was trying to decide whether to have them in or not because the combined ACT score of all the staff that sits at that table and everybody up here wouldn't come close to 36. So anyway, it's very exciting that we can start again having our youth on display and showing what we have in this community. June 11th is the date that the governor picked to remove most restrictions regarding COVID, mask restrictions, social distancing, and all those kinds of things. So my intent will be to open the courthouse to the public for our June 15th, Jenny?
Yes.
June 15th meeting. Now, there are some restrictions still in place, and one of them is crowds. So what I'm going to do, I think, will be to limit the number of people that we can get into this room socially distancing. Now, whether they wear a mask or not, we're not going to ask them to show us their vaccination card. We're going to believe that all people are people of goodwill and good faith. Right, Claude?
Yes.
Okay. But we will ask that they socially distance. For most times, if we have 15 people, that would be a lot of people. I would caution everyone over the Memorial Day weekend. It's one of our, we did have the barbecue festival and we did have the Kentucky Derby, but this is the start of the summer season, so be awfully careful Number one, be careful on the roads, but number two, that's when swimming pools are going to start opening. And really be careful with the kids and even adults who are out around swimming pools, because most of them don't have lifeguards, and those young kids depend on grown-ups. So with that, if there's no other business to be brought before Daviess County Fiscal Court, we are adjourned without exception.